Hi, I hope you're doing well. It's such a warm day today. It's about 27 degrees. So we've got the curtains closed in our living room to try and keep some of the heat out. Otherwise, it's like a sauna in there. And maybe a weird thing to do when it's really warm, but I just really want to make some shortbread. So I basically got no sleep last night. A car alarm went off and I think it was very hot, and then I woke up at like 4 a.m. So I had about 4 hours sleep, and I always find that when you've had no sleep, it was like craving sugar. And I've been watching a lovely vlog and what's her name? It might come to me, but yeah, she made some shortbread. And I was like, gosh, that looks really nice. So obviously I was thinking about shortbread. So I'm going to make some shortbread. I'm thinking of making a rose shortbread. So I got the recipe off ChatGPT, obviously. I've got some rose water in the kitchen because I wanted to make rose matcha lattes. So I've got some rose water from that. So I'm gonna head out now to the shop and get the rest of the stuff I need. And then I thought we could make some shortbread together and have a bit of a catch up. So let's do it. I'll show you my outfit. I've just got on this smock dress from Damson Madder, and then these little ballet slippers, because I thought the pink tones all went nicely together and actually match my room. But yeah, this is very, very lightweight, perfect for this kind of weather, but it does tend to blow up in the wind. So I'm kind of always trying to protect my modesty with that. But yeah, I'm going to take my little basket bag with me and let's go. Sunday's found the coolest spot in the house. Haven't you? Is that the coolest spot? Let it go. I got the world's biggest icing sugar, but it was the only one they had, so yeah, I hope it is icing sugar. Yeah, it is. I panicked for a second then. I'm going to listen to a podcast on the way home. I've been listening to, my favourite podcast at the moment is The Wellness Scoop with Ella Mills and Rhiannon Lambert, I think her name is. It's definitely Rhiannon or something like that. And it's really good. I used to love the Ella Mills, her Digitally Ella podcast, and I really missed it when she stopped doing that, so I'm really glad that she's back in podcast form again. And it's such a comforting podcast as someone who worries a lot about wellness and if they're doing the right thing with their health, and yeah, a lot of health anxiety really, but it's really useful for debunking lots of myths and lots of silly things that you see on social media. It makes me feel so much better, and also makes me feel very informed because Rhi is a registered dietitian, so you know, you can kind of take what she says. What's the opposite? Without a pinch of salt. Without a pinch of salt. I'm gonna listen to that and let's drive home. I picked up a lime because I had a stain on my dress, so I'm going to try and get it out using lime because you can just rub it on and it kind of acts like a stain remover. I would have used lemon, but they didn't have lemon. And then an orange and a grapefruit because I need to make a reel later. So the plan is to make the shortbread and then have it outside and do a bit of a scene for the reel. I've got some things out before. So I've got plain flour, the sugar, and then the butter, and then that's all you need, which is just feels very simple. the dough felt a bit soft, and I think it's just because it's such a warm day that the butter wasn't cold enough. So I've left it in the fridge for 15 minutes and I'm just eating the rest of my lunch, which I didn't finish earlier today. So I've got lentils and black rice and peas with like a tahini dressing that I made. We got there in the end. I'm a bit worried about how these are going to turn out because it was very crumbly when I was trying to roll it, so I just had to use a bit of a different technique, so that's why they're so scruffy looking. But hopefully they taste nice. May have left them in the oven a tiny bit too long, but they taste incredible. What they lack in looks, they make up for in taste. They taste great. I didn't get the icing dusting quite right either. But yeah, scruffy little shortbread biscuits, which I'm gonna have one outside now in the garden. I'm feeling quite frazzled because it's the end of the day and I am so ready for bed, but I just have a couple more. I have to just do some quick edits and then I can finally chill out. I'm reading Divine Rivals at the moment. I actually got this on Vinted. I was going to say YouTube. I got this on Vinted actually, second hand. I can't remember, but it wasn't for very much, which I was really pleased about, and I'm really enjoying it because I've seen my favourite book talker talk about it so much. So I really wanted to read it and I'm really enjoying it. It's not too complicated. The world building isn't too complex, so it's nice and easy to get into, which I'm quite enjoying. I feel like that's the kind of thing I need at the moment. I finished Iron Flame and it took me so long to try and get into that book because I just found it so complicated. The weather has changed so quickly now. That sort of thick, heavy heat has just completely disappeared and there's a bit of a breeze going on. I think we're going to get a thunderstorm this evening. I'm going to sign off here. Thank you so much for joining me to make some shortbread and I'll see you again soon. Bye.